We ask you to use your imagination, because a piece of rope can be a goat. It has to. It's very difficult to understand. Heaven is what we imagine heaven to be if we lived in 1885. So, take your time, enjoy, laugh a little, I hope, and cry a little maybe. Maybe some of it will pierce your heart. Shalom Aleichem lived in the United States and died in 1916. I have here a piece of paper, the last will and testament of Shalom Aleichem. He was born in Russia, 1859, died in New York City in 1916. I'll read a little bit so you know. Well, let's stop. In 1980. Okay, those things did not exist then. He wrote, no matter where I may lie, I do not want to be buried among the aristocrats, the nobles, or the wealthy. There are to be no titles or eulogies about my work, but put me among the common people, working, people proper. There are to be no titles or eulogies on my tombstone, just my name, Shalom Aleichem on one side, and the Jewish inscription on the other. There are to be no discussions or debates among my colleagues about the perpetuation of my name or some kind of a thing erected in New York City. On the anniversary of my death, only my surviving son and my son-in-law, if they so desire, may say Kaddish. That's the prayer for the dead. But should they have no such desire, or should their time not permit it, or should be against their religious convictions, they may accomplish the same object by assembling all of my daughters, grandchildren, friends, and reading one of my stories. In remembrance of Shalom Aleichem, then. Even if somebody can tell you more about it. This is Mendele, the bookseller. He comes trundling this whole bunch of books. Hello, Mendele. Here's your order.
Thank you. I apologize. I didn't mean to stare, but I was just thinking, what of these wonderful treasures would please you? My name, as you know, is Mendele the bookseller, and I have here everything a learned man would want in the way of a book. Do I? We have here novels, poetry, an edition of the commentaries, good up to page 187. The rest, so well, wisdom is no substitute for a piece of herring. A house with only a fish is not the home. So come up and browse. Turn them over, test the bindings. Some have pictures. Please, no obligation to buy. Maybe you would enjoy a Vorspeise, a sample, a preview. Let me see. What would the world be without Shalom Aleichem? And what would the world be without Isaac Loeb Peretz? Now here's a Schreiber, such a writer, Isaac Loeb Peretz. Isaac, you know, in Hebrew, means laughter. Isaac Loeb Peretz, a man who was a poet, a playwright, a journalist too, and also, before that, a Hebrew teacher, the manager of a brewery. He ran a flour mill, and also he was a lawyer. This story and others he used to read in the language of the working people, in Yiddish to working people. And because in those days this was never got very popular with the Tsar, reading in Yiddish to working people. So Isaac Loeb Pettit spent a little time in jail. It's a fact. What can I do? Later, nearly 50 years later, in another terrible time for the Jews, in the Hitler time, in Warsaw, in the ghetto itself, this story was read. At the risk of your life, and still the people read it. The story runs in English maybe 9 pages, 9.5. But in Yiddish it runs 12. In Yiddish, a story is always 25% longer and 25% better. Anyhow, not a long story, not a big book, not a tome like we say, not a weighty story, but a story. The story of Bolshe Schweig, and it begins in heaven.
I don't know. I never heard a shofar like that before. Never.
Yeah, you can hear it all the way up in the seventh heaven.
Maybe he's creating a new world. A new creation.
Oh, do you think it could be Judgment Day?
Just listen to me.
What's happening today?
Oh, you haven't heard? No.
Buncher Schweig is dead.
Bunch of swat.
Buncher Schweig has left the earth. Did you hear that? It means Buncher Schweig has arrived at the heavenly gates. Oh, I have to get Father Abraham.
Oh, what's that?
His chair, the magic armchair of Banshee Schwab.
Oh, look.
How beautiful.
This will be his crown.
Look at the pearls.
I have to take it to the holy presence. He has to check it out carefully. Don't touch it.
But the heavenly court hasn't met yet. I mean, has the heavenly court met?
It doesn't matter. That's just a formality.
Listen, even Moses had held heavenly court.
Doesn't matter. It's a formality.
Oh,
What's here? If this trial takes more than 5 minutes, you don't understand. It's 5.
he's here.
He's here. I see him.
Here he comes.
Join the heavenly presence. The heavenly court is sitting, waiting for you. Commit yourself. This is not a dream. Come, sit down. Are you comfortable? You're in God's presence.
The case of Banshee Schweig, start, but be brief. The defending angel,
Ready.
the prosecuting angel,
To unmask the unworthy, always ready.
Proceed, but quickly.
His name is Bonsha Schweig, Bonsha the Silent, and his name fit him like a cloak made in the hands of a master tailor.
No similes, please.
His death, like his life on earth, made no impression. If a horse had dropped dead in the street, it would have aroused more attention than he did. But then, if there were as many horses as there are men like Bonsha Schweig, it would have gone unnoticed also.
No metaphors.
He never complained of either God or man. Hatred never flashed in his eyes. He never lifted his voice in bitterness to heaven.
And no rhetoric, please.
Job was unlucky, but this one was even less fortunate. When he was a week old, he was circumcised. But the moil who did the job didn't know his business. No wine was drunk at that occasion, and at bar mitzvah, no speeches were made. He lived like a grain of sand among millions like him. And when the wind lifted him up and blew him upside down, no one noticed it.
My dear defending angel, facts is what we want, and only facts.
His mother died when he was 13, and he inherited a stepmother who was a snake.
Insinuation against a third party? Come.
Beg pardon. He didn't complain. Instead of food, he got moldy bread. Instead of meat, he ate meat, skin and gristle. Wintertime, he chopped the wood in the yard, his hands and feet frozen, his black and blue marks showing through the holes in his pants. Did he complain? No.
Proceed.
He never even complained to his father.
His father? You mean the drunk?
You will be heard from in due time. Proceed.
He had nobody to play with, ever. He never spent a day in a heder, never had a book, never had a coat that wasn't somebody else's first. He never had a minute to himself. His father, drunk one night, threw him out of the house into the street. He picked himself up and went whichever way the wind was blowing. However hungry he got, he kept silent. He begged only with his eyes. How many times he was arrested, vagrancy, loitering, no visible means of support, I couldn't begin to tell you. How many times he got work, the dirtiest, the heaviest, the most menial. I couldn't list them all, and he never got paid. Worse than working was finding work, and through it all, silent.
Could I suggest time is... Please, go ahead.
When they splashed mud on him, when they spit on him, when they made him walk in the gutter and told him to keep off the sidewalk, when he stood in the doorway begging for the money he was owed on a job and they told him to come back later, now it's not convenient, when they paid him as they did, only part, or cheated him, or gave him counterfeit money, he kept silent, although starvation and death were constantly by his side. Once, good fortune smiled. He stopped 2 runaway horses and saved the life of the man inside, the owner of the carriage, although the driver of the carriage was killed. He was made the coachman and inherited also a wife, and more than that, a child. The child and the wife of the man who had been killed in the accident. When his newfound protector went bankrupt and didn't pay him what he was owed, he was silent. When his new wife ran away and left him with a newborn baby, he was silent. And 15 years later, when the boy grew up and threw him out of the house, even then, silent. And when the same benefactor ran him down in the street and the carriage wheels rolled over him, he didn't even report to the police who had done it. And in the hospital, his back broken, nothing.
And in the hospital, you could say anything, scream even, it's permitted.
And when the doctor wouldn't touch his case without payment in advance, and the same for the hospital attendant who wouldn't even give him a glass of water without first being paid, even then, silence. Silence in his last minute on earth, in the death struggle. Silence even in death.
You're finished?
Oh, one moment more. He was buried in a pauper's grave. Even the gravedigger doesn't remember him. And a little stick was put up to mark the grave. The next day, the wind blew it over, and the gravedigger's wife found it and used it to stir a pot of potatoes. And in all, from birth to death, not a word against God, not a word against man.
The defending angel is concluded, then the prosecuting angel.
Angels in heaven. Angels in heaven. As you have seen, he has remained so silent. For today, I will be silent.
Quiet, please, please. Bancha, Bancha's fine. Bancha, my child. Banchala. You suffered and kept silent all your life. You never understood that you could have cried out. Your voice would have shaken the walls of Jericho. The very walls of heaven would have fallen before your cry. You never knew your power, the strength of someone who never felt a moment's hate in his life. We will not judge you, nor will we pass a sentence, nor try to find a reward that is proper and just and right for you. Take what you want. Everything is yours. Anything. Ask anything you like. It's yours. We mean it. Really, really, everything is yours. Everything there is in heaven belongs to you because everything in heaven is a reflection of your goodness. You are my bunch of, you're only taking what is yours.
Take it.
Well, if that's the case, and if it's true, perhaps every day I would have a hot roll and fresh butter.
We'll take a few moments.
Shalom Aleichem wrote another story you're going to enjoy. The Enchanted Tailor. Where did he get the idea? Like all great artists, from the people, a folk story. So here is a story. The tale of Melamed, a teacher, that is, a Melamed, of his good wife Rivkah, of their great advisor, the Rabbi David, and of their goat,
Quiet, quiet.
But mind you, not just an ordinary story of a Melamed, his wife, a rabbi, and the goat, but of the Melamed wife, rabbi, and goat of Chelm. What you ask is Chelm. Or if you know that it is a famous city in the old country, what's so special about Chelm? I'll tell you. But better still, this passing angel, who in a way is responsible, she'll tell you. Go ahead. We're among friends.
Well, I guess I did it. Me, the angel Rochela, charged with distributing souls all over the earth. It's a big job, you'll admit. But even an angel can get tired of doing after several centuries and make a mistake. Well, I was flying as usual with my 2 bags of souls. One naturally filled with wise souls, the other with foolish souls. So, over Helm, there is this high mountain and this very high tree, which I did not see. Well, the sun was in my eyes. And the top of the tree ripped the bag with the foolish souls and spilled them down in Helm. And that is how it came to be that Helm is filled with foolish souls.
So that is the history. Now, our story. First, what's it like in Chelm? When they built Chelm, there was a forest where they wanted to build their houses and the synagogue. The trees who were there had to be removed. And since Chelm was halfway up a mountain, this was not easy. Not the way they did it. They cut the trees down, and then 10 men carried them down into the valley. That is, until the stranger showed up. The stranger from Lithuania, of course, said,
Why do you carry them?
What else should we do?
Slide them down. Trees slide down the mountain.
Of course. Brilliant. Thank you.
So they got all the trees from the valley, carried them back up the mountain, and as the stranger suggested, they slid them down. I see you understand our setting. Now let's meet the characters close up. First, the Rabbi David, the wisest man in all Chelm, who one day made this startling announcement.
From now on, the poor man will eat sour cream, and every rich man will drink sour milk.
What? No.
Yes, I've discovered how to do it.
So tell us, please, Rabbi.
Let a decree be issued that from now on, sour milk is called cream, and cream is called sour milk.
Rabbi, something else has been bothering me. Could you tell me, please, why does a dog wag his tail?
Because, my child, the dog is stronger than the tail, where otherwise every sad tail would wag the dog.
Well, then tell me, Rabbi David, why does the hair on a man's head turn gray before his beard?
What would you expect? The hair on the head is 20 years older than the hair on the beard.
Rabbi, something else has been troubling me.
I've got plenty of time.
Why is the ocean so salty?
You don't know? Naturally, because of the thousands of herrings that live there.
Such is the wisest man in the Chelm. Now, our Melamed.
Rivkala, my darling.
Did you say something?
Yes. If I were the Tsar, I'd be richer than the Tsar.
How, my fine Mohammed?
I'd be teaching on the side.
This is only one side of his character. For another side, I must tell you, once the Melamed left Chelm and forgot his slippers, so he wrote a letter to his wife.
My dearest Rivkala, please send me your slippers. I have put down your slippers because if I were to write down my slippers, you would send me your slippers. So, that is why I have written down, you send me your slippers, so you will know to send me my slippers.
Aye. Now, Rivkala herself is someone, a person of very definite opinions and of superior mentality, even for Chelm. Once she was sitting figuring.
Now let's see. 4, 3, 7. 2, 5, 7. 2 times 7 is 11.
Excuse me, Rivka. 2 times 7 is 14.
No, you're wrong. 2 times 7 is 11.
I'm wrong?
Of course. When I married the Melamed, I was a widow and I had 4 children.
Right.
He at the time was a widower and he also had 4 children.
Right.
Since we're married together, we have 3 children.
Right.
So, he has 7 children.
Right.
And I have 7 children. And altogether we have 11.
By now, we are almost ready for the story of the goat. I said, almost. There is one last thing you must understand. The relationship between the Melamed and his wife. Listen carefully, because this is not a simple matter.
Ah, you're back from the market, my Melamed.
Yes, I went. I'm back.
So, where's the chicken I sent you to buy?
Well, I went to the woman who sells chicken. She says her chickens are so fat. Fat is better than chicken. So I went to the fat stand. I went to the man who sells fat. He says his fat is so wonderful, it's like oil. Oil is better than fat. So I go to the oil man. He says his oil is so pure, it's as pure as water. Water is better than oil. So, instead of a chicken, I brought you a pitcher of water.
Now, I hope you are ready for the story. Unless first you insist on a few words about the goat. But the goat was only a goat. And what can you say about a goat? And besides, this goat was not even in town, but in the next village, famous for its goats. And that's the whole point of the story. So one morning,
How would you like to have linses for supper?
Linses? Linses tonight?
Why not? Why should we scrape and scrimp from morning till night and deprive ourselves all of our lives? Here is the money we've saved. You go to the village and buy us a goat, and we'll have linses tonight.
I'll go immediately.
Not so fast. You remember the chicken?
Of course I remember.
So this time, a goat.
Naturally a goat.
And please, a female goat.
Does milk come from a billy goat?
Does a pitcher of water lay eggs?
off he goes. way, he had to pass the inn, which was run by his friend Dodi. Now, Dodi served a nice glass of wine, very inexpensive, but he was pleasant to talk to. He was, alas, given also to practical jokes.
What is it? So in a little while, I'll go get the goat.
Oh, sounds like a great idea. Hold still.
What is it?
Hold still. What was it? It's nothing. I made a mistake. I thought you had a fly on your face, old friend. So, go ahead. Go get your goat.
It's a very... It's a very shabby looking goat. I don't know if it can stand. And its eyes, awful.
A man was in this morning. He offered in exchange for this goat a cow. I turned him down.
She should only live till I can get her home. 60 slaughters.
As a matter of fact, she's not for sale. 100.
Well, in that case, goodbye. 65.
I shouldn't even be standing here talking to you. My children are sick. 90.
I hear one of them crying. You better go. 70.
All right, let's call the whole thing off. 80.
I'm going. My wife's going to wonder where I am. 75.
Oh, Shalom Aleichem, 77.
Aleichem Shalom, 76.
I see you're a man who appreciates value. Sold.
All right, just one thing. Undoubtedly, this is a female goat?
You said you wanted a goat that gave milk. Would I sell you a billy goat?
Of course not.
So it gives at least a pail of milk a day.
Hey, did you get the goat?
So, to make a long story short, she said the goat gives a pail of milk a day, and I offered her 40 slavies, and she sold it to me.
Great negotiating. Well done.
So tomorrow night you'll come for balances.
Linses. If we switch our billy goat for that she goat, it could be really funny, you think?
So, you know, with a goat's milk, you can make oatmeal, you can make all kinds of things. So you'll come?
Invite me. I'll come.
You're invited.
We'll see you then.
I'm a woman, you have to be. No, tell me, my Malama. You milked the goat?
What's the matter? A pail of milk a day, she said.
Maybe a pail a day, but not milk. It's a billy goat.
A genuine female, she said.
Enough! Take it back already. And bring back what I sent you for. A lady goat that gives milk.
So you're back?
So you won't believe what happened. She sold me a billy goat.
No.
I'm on my way.
Finish your drink and we'll go.
Here. Give me back my money.
What seems to be the difficulty?
Please. Do I look like a child? It strikes you that I was only born yesterday?
Please, Mohammed, I'm a busy woman.
So, if you're so busy, give me back my money and take back your billy goat.
What? Where are your eyes?
Never mind. I trusted you, and you said, give me a billy goat.
I won't say another word. Watch.
It's impossible. Milk from a billy goat?
Here is the milk. You just saw me milk her. You're a Malamed. It's a lady goat.
Only an hour ago, it was a male goat.
What have you been drinking?
Who drinks?
So, take the goat and goodbye.
Listen, I'm convinced. I really am. I believe it's a lady goat. Only do me a favor. You have a rabbi here?
What kind of question is that? Do you have a rabbi in the town?
Are we godless people?
Are we?
There's no need to get an argument. I ask you a simple question. You have a rabbi.
So?
So, please do me a favor. Ask him if he can give me a certificate that says this is a lady goat that gives milk.
It's crazy. Of course it's a lady goat. I just milked her. You just saw me milk her. Here's the milk.
I know it. You know it. But my wife, Rivkala,
No, do I have to tell you what happened?
I am speechless. Absolutely, totally speechless. For once in my life, I can't say a word.
what did I do, Rivkala?
Nothing, not a thing. Only do me a favor. The next time I send you for something, don't go.
You said a lady goat that gives milk. Here's the goat. I saw the woman.
Please, not another word. It's a billy goat.
Impossible.
Listen to him.
Look, not only is it a lady goat, but I have here, wait. I have her certificate. signed by a rabbi and 2 witnesses that says this is a lady goat.
A paper signed by witnesses.
Would the rabbi lie? Would the 3 witnesses sign a false statement? Would they?
Please, somebody come and take him away.
Why excite yourself? This thing is beyond us. You say the goat is a billy goat. The certificate says it's a lady goat. We'll have the problem solved by Rabbi David, the wisest man in Shalom.
So you think this proves it's a female? What's the difference? A document. Take a look at the goat. Is that a female?
So, Rabbi David, the document confirms that this is a female goat.
I see.
You take a look at the goat. Is it a female?
Well, the animal is without doubt, without question, there are certain unmistakable signs. He goat. One question.
You said it was a he-goat. Of course. I told you.
But still, the document is not to be denied. There's 3 witnesses, including a rabbi. So this is my decision.
Yes.
The law is on the side of the Malamed. The animal is a she-goat. And beyond all doubt, all question must be passed by the document. But it's equally clear, and it must be ordained. For I see no other explanation that whenever a she-goat is brought into Chelm by some person beyond my understanding, the she-goat becomes a he-goat.
And that settled it. And the townsfolk who had, of course, heard all about the goat marveled that a new Solomon was in Chelm. So the Malamed, his wife Rivka, the Reb, and the goat, and all the other Chelmites settled down to a normal life. And they would be at it still to this day, except that all the Chelmites are no longer in Chelm. You see, they were scattered by a heavy rain that nearly washed away the city. And they went to every part of the earth. Maybe you met at least one in your lifetime. Who knows? Maybe there's one sitting next to you right now. Curtain.
Thank you for your kind attention. Have a good night.